go. And we did just have a little call earlier on, didn't we, of new people. So I'd sent the Tai Chi link out already. I thought I'll do it straight away because otherwise I will forget. So that's gone out to you by email. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So these sessions, there are 2 of these sessions every week, and these are Cwtch circles. So this is where the live meditations take place in these, but it's also a place where it's a bit more sort of like community feel of us getting to know each other, supporting each other a bit, and there will be a topic every week in these sessions as well. So I'm going to share my screen with you now, so that because I want to share with you sort of the purpose of these sessions, so that you've got a good idea, or you know exactly what it is you're getting yourselves into. Okay. So I'm just going to talk you through this. So the purpose of the Cwtch, so the purpose of these Cwtch circles and the whole of the Cwtch is to give everybody a safe and confidential, non-judgmental space that we can share our thoughts, our worries, our concerns, and to be able to ask for help and support yourself. If there is something that that you were dealing with and you want a bit of support, it is that place that you can ask for it. But it's also a place where you can give support to other people. And the way that we do that is with compassion and care, so that we truly feel heard and truly validated. And so many of us, like some people in Europe, done grief recovery, and in grief recovery, it's a principle called being a heart with ears for each other. And we've probably all had situations where we've been talking to somebody, sharing something, they jumped in trying to tell us what to do, how to feel, and those sorts of things, and it's actually not helpful. So in the Cwtch, we don't do that. We don't sort of give advice and guidance to people unless it's asked for, because it's not always helpful. And those of you who are not Welsh might not know the meaning of the word Cwtch. So the word Cwtch literally means, it is a hug in Wales, but it also means a safe space, a small safe space. So that's what the Cwtch is. It's our small safe space where we can come and we can show up and be ourselves and know that we're not going to be judged for it. So throughout the materials and from our live sessions, we'll be learning healthy communication skills and how to express and complete our feelings assertively as well. And it's something that we don't tend to get taught throughout our lives. So we will be learning that as we go along. It's also to learn that we're all worthwhile human beings and we all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, not just by other people, but by ourselves as well. And this is often a big one. And I often see people who come to the Cwtch, who come to mindfulness courses and grief recovery, and this was me too, often very hard on themselves. And probably the way that we speak to ourselves is a lot different to the way that we speak to other people. So right throughout all of our sessions, I will be reminding you, and often we put ourselves down, and I do it too. I did it earlier on, putting myself down about my IT skills, and we do it automatically, don't we? And so I will call you out lovingly if you do put yourself down and and you're not treating yourself with dignity and respect and compassion. It's also to learn that we're responsible for our own lives, our own health, and our own happiness. And if there's something going on in our lives that we're not happy with, then there are some situations that perhaps we can't control, but we do have the power to change things, or the power to be able to make the situation the best that we can do. Sometimes if there's health conditions, there are some situations we can't change, but we do have the power to choose how we react to these situations. And often, and something I see a lot of is, especially these days, there's lots out there, lots of people almost like waiting for diagnosis, and it almost like keeps us stuck there. And waiting lists are so long in sort of like NHS and things, but while we're on those waiting lists, there's a lot we can do to improve our health and happiness, and to be able to live as well as we can in the realms of what it is that we're dealing with. One of the things that I see as well, and this was me going back years ago, and I've shaped this on around what is it that would have helped me going back years ago. And we all do it, don't we? When we're struggling with something, we all go onto Dr. Google and we look for, answers and things. And it can be really overwhelming. The information that comes back to us, we don't know if it's the right information. And the reason why I set this membership up and all the course material, because I wanted to give people a roadmap and almost like, let's take the guesswork out of what it is that we need to do to be able to be feeling a little bit better, and to give people like, do this, then this, then this, then this, rather than it being sort of like guesswork and sort of like floundering in the dark kind of thing. So one of the purposes of the Cwtch is to take the guesswork out of being able to rock through life. And rock through life doesn't mean that we don't have challenges, or we don't have tough times, or we don't have health conditions, or we don't have problems. What it means is when we're able to rock through life, it means that we've got the confidence, that we've got the tools, the right knowledge, and the right support to be able to get through whatever it is that we're dealing with, and to go on and flourish and thrive in life as well. And the way we take that guesswork out is through education and empowering you to develop your own self-care toolkit, which is everything everything you need for that here in the Cwtch. It's change for us to improve whether it's our mental health, physical health, or whatever it is. We do have to make changes, and making changes is hard. If anybody has tried to lose weight or improve your physical health, it's not easy, is it? And it's a lot harder for us to do these things on our own as well. So the session that we had last week is our session where we sort of set goals, we hold each other accountable, and there is a goal setting part in the WhatsApp group as well, so we can encourage each other and hold each other accountable and empower each other and encourage each other along the way. It's really, really important. And the whole part of the Cwtch is about being self-compassionate, and it's not beating ourselves up if if we fall by the wayside. It is just about getting back to things, and just knowing that you've got a space where you can come and share those challenges and be encouraged along the way, and for you to encourage other people as well. And Cwtch is also about valuing ourselves, and for us to actually make any changes to our health and well-being, we've got to value ourselves first. And the way that we make decisions, we all have something called a hierarchy of values. And what that means is we make decisions from the things that are at the top of our hierarchy of values. So if at the top is our children, our partners, our work, other people, and we are at the bottom, we will always make decisions from a place of other people's well-being before our own. And going back years ago, after I blacked out and I was driving, I was right at the bottom of my hierarchy of values. And it is an act of self-compassion to put ourselves up to the top, because nobody else is going to do this for us. Only we can improve our health. Only we can do that. And it doesn't mean to say that there's not times where we do put other people first. If there's a time when we do need to put our children first and we do need to put other people first. But if we're looking after ourselves most of the time, we can navigate those times then when we do have to put other people first. So a big part of the Cwtch is treating ourselves with self-compassion, valuing our own health and well-being. And I mentioned earlier on that we treat ourselves a lot more sort of like judgmentally and self-critical than we do other people. And often just that thought of valuing our own health and well-being can be uncomfortable for many people, but it is actually necessary for us to look after ourselves, because otherwise we can't keep doing the things that we do to help other people, support our families, whether it's support work and all of those kinds of things. So you will hear us talking a lot about prioritising our own health and well-being. So for any group like this to work, there have to be some guidelines. It's Thursday Work Talking, particularly tonight. So the most important one is confidentiality. And there are many people here who come from like the local area, and there may be other people here who you may come across each other in different groups and things. So it's really important that what is said here, who you see here, what we do here stays here. So if I come across you in another environment, whether it's face-to-face or in another group, I will never mention that I know you from the Cwtch. If you want to tell people that you were here, then that's absolutely fine. But not everybody wants other people to know that they come to something like this. So feel free to share far and wide anything that you learn here, but if we can keep confidential, the names of people, who you see and what you hear. It's tongue twister, hear, then that's a really sort of key part for us to all be able to feel safe and be able to show up and be honest with ourselves. There are some exceptions. If anybody mentioned that they were having thoughts of suicide or that they were harming themselves or being harmed by somebody else, then I'm not going to just send you along the way. I will ask you to stay behind at the end of the session so that we can get you the support and the help that you need. There may be some weeks where we may go into breakout rooms. So if you became aware of or you heard anybody expressing thoughts of suicide or any harm, then I'd ask you to message me privately so that I can pick that up and follow that up. So we practice compassionate listening. I mentioned being a heart with yous, and that's what being a heart with yous is. We don't need to be analysed. We don't need to be judged or compared to other people. We don't need to be criticised or be given advice or be told what we should or shouldn't do, say or behave. And actually, it can be really unhelpful if you share something and then somebody jumps in and says, oh, you should do this or you should do that. And it can actually feel quite critical, as if what you're doing is wrong. So we don't sort of give advice and or guidance unless anybody asks for it. There are times when somebody may want some advice, and you can ask for advice, but I will always ask, do you want advice and guidance? That being said, there's a wealth of experience in the room, a wealth of knowledge. It can be helpful. There may be something that you have done that you found really, really helpful that somebody else could benefit from. But then I'd always ask you to share that from the angle of, this is what I do, or this is what works for me, and share it from that way, rather than telling somebody you should do or say this. So you'll hear me refer to being a heart with yous quite a lot. It's important to share it from your own comfort level. We all have different comfort levels. Some people are comfortable with what I call deep belly sharing. Other people are only comfortable from sharing one or two things. There is no right or wrong here in the Cwtch, but don't think that if you hear somebody else sharing, a lot of deep, meaningful stuff, that you have to do the same, and vice versa. If other people only share minimal stuff, but there is something that you really want to share, then it's all welcome here. It is also okay to pass as well. There is no pressure. Like when we do highs and lows, if you don't want to say anything, then that is absolutely fine. And all you've got to do is either perhaps just shake your head or just say pass. I will always, even if you are somebody that passes every single week, I will always give you the opportunity to say anything, but you will never be pressured to say anything at all. Because if I didn't give you the opportunity, that might be the one week that you do say something. So the next one is, every voice deserves to be heard, and it's really encouraged that everybody speaks for him or herself. Now, this is more prevalent in face-to-face groups where people sort of jump in and speak for other people. It doesn't happen so much on sort of online stuff because it's a bit different. But it can be quite common that if you know somebody in the group and maybe you share sort of highs and lows and you say, oh, I haven't got any highs this week, but you might know that there was something that they did that was really good. And it can be quite common for somebody to jump in, oh, yeah, remember that good thing you did? But actually, that might not be a good thing for that person. So we really ask everybody to allow everybody to speak for themselves and not trying to speak for people. And the final one then is no put downs. And we tend not to put down other people, but we tend to put ourselves down. And feel free to call me out on this as well, because I do it too. We're all human. And I will sort of call you out on that with kindness, only from the angle of being self-compassionate. So they are the guidelines. So I'm going to come back to you now. If I can find my way back. Okay, there I am back, and Gavin's just entered, so let Gavin in. Sorry, Gavin, it took a while for me to let you in. I was sharing a presentation, but it'll be there on recording for you to catch up. So before we go any further, is everybody okay with the guidelines, in particular the confidentiality being the most important one? Okay, fab. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording now because this is the part